As y'all can see, we got her finished up. Got the stickers picked up today. Put them on before I went to work. I just got off work. It's about 11:30 Friday night before we go racing at Arizona Speedway. So I'm kind of taking a break here. Decided I'd make a quick little video, pre-race video. Just so happened I might have drilled through my finger. I'm making holes for my Zeus's on my hood, and I was holding the hood like this pretty much, and drilled right in my finger, and it is pissing a little bit of blood, but we'll be all right. Yeah, there we go, guys. Got the nose all done. I got these so I'm running hood mount clamps. I have little standoffs in there, and that's how I'm gonna keep this nose piece on. I got one on each side. Pretty trick little setup. I've still got to drill 2 holes at the bottom to put my quarter turn Zeus's in. Got these 2. I'm surprised. I've just been eyeballing them. I've been like peeling up my hood a little bit. Kind of like, it's about right there. Made a Sharpie mark, drilled through, and they're pretty much dead on. I still have 2 more down here to go. Still pissing blood, but yeah. I'd like to thank Desert Racing Designs for helping me out getting these stickers made up. We were working on sticker design like Tuesday, and it's Friday. He had to print them and printed and ready for me. I made some screw ups up here. You can see kind of creases. It was really awkward getting this top number on. It's awkward around my rivet there. These US Air Force Racing stickers, they were probably the biggest pain because they were trying to twist and rotate as I was putting it on. But yeah, other than that, I think it came out all right. You know, it might get torn up tomorrow, knowing my luck. But yeah, I think it looks good. One thing I am going to do is just take like a little razor blade and cut out this little white inside here. That wasn't meant to be like that. I think it was just maybe like a printing error, but no big deal. Just take a little knife and trace that out and cut it out. But yeah, other than that, I think looks wise, it's ready to go. Next thing up is gonna be working on this mount here. I need to get a new drill bit. My drill bit that I had just isn't cutting it anymore. And then I can mount this guy. Same thing on the other side. Forgot to include in my race prep that I also grind on my tires. So I just got a tire bead breaker in today. This is a Speedway bead breaker. Started mocking up a design to shorten it because we run 13-inch wheels on these mod lights and dwarf cars, and this won't work. So I was able to use it without using the hook on the other side of the bead, just using my foot and kind of working it. I was able to break the bead on one of my old spare tires, so I'm gonna play around with it, get that fixed up. But usually I would flip my tires, grind them, make sure they're all good to go, make sure we got fresh rubber on top. I know some guys usually use saran wrap and wrap them. I don't know, I'm gonna do some research. It seems kind of wasteful, but it does keep dirt and oxygen from getting to the resurfaced rubber. So I don't know, I'm gonna look into that. Another thing that I'm doing is changing my brake pads. These are some new ones here. There's the Speedway El Cheapos, and here were my old ones compared to the new ones. Yeah, we were about due. It's just looking at them. I'm gonna check the rotor to make sure it's not bent. But yeah, hopefully it looks like they might have been hanging. So I'm gonna look into that, and that might be some of my braking problems. So if you go watch my last onboard video at Arizona Speedway, I was kind of being really smooth on the throttle through the corner, which, I mean, it was fast. It's a fast way to go around the track, but I just wasn't comfortable not having as much braking power. So trying to figure that out. New shoes, of course, will help, or pads. But I like to run in the corner harder, hit the brakes, have it really grab harder so I can get back on the gas harder. But then again, me just being real easy and real smooth on the throttle was pretty fast. So I don't know. This is gonna be my really second race on the car, and we'll see. I'm still learning how to drive these things, still learning how to drive on the dirt out here. The tracks are very slick, and they dry out pretty quick. So once again, I'm just learning. So I bought 6 pads. I just had my caliper mounted here. I took the pads out of there. This is definitely bent, as you can tell. Can't really, yeah, you can see a wobble, and that's definitely bent. But I mean, the rules stay. They have to have 4 calipers. You have to have a brake on all 4 wheels. I don't have a line ran to that one. I might later on run a line to it and then wire a switch in the cockpit to turn this one on and off. But for now, I'm just running 3 brakes. That's really what you need, except for specific track conditions. But like I said, we're still learning. So I'm debating playing around with setup tomorrow on this thing. I'm wanting to move some rear bars around. But then again, I don't want to, because again, I'm still learning how to drive these things. I want to be able to I'm making pretty consistent laps. But I want to get more seat time in the car before I really start playing around with stuff. But I'm also eager to play around with stuff so I can see how it feels, see how the car responds to bar movements and different settings. The main thing I'm planning on changing tomorrow, if I do end up changing, is lowering this bar here. I'm gonna probably lower it before my heat race and see how that feels, and then come the main event, I'll probably put it back to where it was, just so I can get a back-to-back comparison, but also take into consideration the track will change a lot from the heat race to the main. So I might play around with my, what would be a J bar, but this technically isn't a J bar. Might move that bar up and down on the chassis side. But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to play around with it too much because the car felt pretty good, just from my limited experience, but I think it could be better. So the new thing that guys are running on these cars is, it's called a biscuit. So on your pull bar right here, this upper bar right here that mounts to your differential, they're running like this little snubber device. I don't know if it'll work on this car because I have such a short linkage from my frame to the differential mount. But I've seen a lot of guys with that, they call it a biscuit on their rear ends. Not sure what it does. I heard it might help the car get up on the bars, but or stay up on the bars, but I'm not 100% sure. Haven't done too much research on that, but it's a tuning option. It's like, I think $60 for the setup that I can get, 60 to 100 bucks, and it's just a good bolt-on setup that can change and be able to vary. So after I just showed all my competitors my rear end setup, feel free to copy that. It could work for you, could not, so feel free. Yeah, there's not much else I could do to the car right now because Lowe's is closed. I need to go get some drill bits. Like I said, I worn mine out, and need to wait for some friends to come help me bleed my brakes, or my roommates to wake up. I mean, they're all asleep because it's pretty late. It's about 12 o'clock now. But yeah, that's pretty much just race prep. So I go through the whole car, check every nut and bolt. I check my fluids. Every third race day, I change my oil and filter. And I bleed my brakes before every race. It's just something I do. And then once all that's done, my tires are ground, I get the car to race setup. So I put my race fuel mount in. I throw my helmet, or throw some, like a couple tools or whatever to compensate for my safety equipment. I just throw it on the car and I get into it, and I have someone help me set up my ride height. And then we check my camber, my toe, just go through the car setup and make sure everything is right, or right where it should be, so I have a consistent car starting out. So I know moving your ride height moves your weight. I haven't scaled this car yet with me in it. I do have some setup sheets. What was left with the previous driver, I'm pretty much the same weight as the previous driver, and I have the same weight in the same positions. But then again, moving ride height also moves your weight around because you're putting turns in on your struts. And it'll just mess up your cross balance, front and rear balance. That's something I'm looking at getting into eventually, but right now I'm just focused on ride height, camber toe, and making sure my pinch clamps are where they should be and they haven't slipped like I had happened in previous race days. So I think that's gonna do it for pretty much today. Another thing I do is I plug in my transponder. You can see that little blue light over there. I plugged that in the night before and I let it charge all night and all day. Make sure my transponder's charged. It's my first time with this transponder. It's a friend of mine who used to run a sprint car. I'm borrowing it. I had to buy a charger though. It charged about 50 bucks. These are the old A and B ones that you don't need a subscription for. So that's, if you can find those, you are doing good. So I just gotta keep an eye out for them. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do for a race. It's what we did back when I was growing up. It's pretty much the same thing for everybody. You know, people might do a couple things different, you know, here and there, but that's just pretty much the basics. Clean car, prep your tires, go through the car, nut and bolt, fluids, setup, and then you're pretty much, it's pretty much all of it. So one person with this little car, it ain't that much work to be done. So I guess I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna go in, shower, maybe grab a bite to eat and go to bed. But yeah, tomorrow morning we'll be thrashing on this car, getting it ready, getting it cleaned up, getting all tools organized, getting everything loaded up in the trailer out there. And then we'll be gassing up everything, getting the coolers loaded, getting all my buddies over here that are going. There's gonna be a lot of friends that are gonna be coming tomorrow. So yeah, that's gonna be tomorrow. I'll see y'all at the racetrack.